Hey Terry, so one thing I've learned by going to the getting locked up was I figured out a way to tell who's cops and who's not. It's the
I mean,
brown vans, man.
it's in the Constitution of America.
That's right. That's what I learned too. Welcome back to the Almost Sideshow, everybody. My name is Adam, and today we are breaking down Breaking Bad, episode
Breakdown of Breaking Bad.
8 of season 2, called Better Call Saul.
We don't rehearse
Got
this or anything.
No, the guy who always trips me up is joining me as always, and that is Terry over here. How's it going, Terry?
Yay!
Hey,
It's going great.
that's why you're here, folks.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. It's going great. It's going great. You've got. This is a big episode. It's a big episode. The episode that launched a spin-off series.
A
Um,
revolution.
it launched a revolution. We finally get one Saul Goodman showing up, and he he comes in with a bang.
Yeah, well, yeah, he does. Kind of a show-stopping bang because you're totally caught off guard by it. But this episode has a really like obvious opening. It's so awesome. Just sitting on a park bench, and it's like a Forrest Gump opening, man. Just at a park bench, having a like box of chocolates or something like that, like talking to somebody. It's like, yeah, you know how I can tell who's cops? That brown van over there. That brown van over there. And then you got
Smell
Mr.
bacon.
Yeah, so bacon. Mr. Getz out there tricking him with the Constitution throws.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great opening of this show here, and it sets up this episode perfectly because he's sitting on a Saul Goodman uh, park bench, which is awesome. So
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. So
pretty
should we
great.
get into it? Should we do this?
Heck yeah, man! I want to get started into this episode. Let's go.
All right. Season 2, episode 8 of Breaking Bad, entitled Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
Badger has been betrayed by a fun-looking dude and the Constitution of America. Now he is in prison and being asked to roll on Heisenberg. What should he do? Better call Saul!
So
Hank
awesome.
has taken a keen interest in Badger's case too because he was found with the blue meth. Hank is back at work at his regular post after a pep talk from Walt. He was having some struggles getting going after the trauma of the exploding turtle. Saul Goodman and Associates takes on Badger as a client, and eventually Walt and Jesse as clients too. After Saul couldn't convince them of the solution of taking out Badger, no shanking! He
No
comes up with
shanking.
a new solution. A career prisoner will take the fall as Heisenberg. He gets to go to prison, the feds get their guy, Badger only gets probation, everyone's happy. It almost goes completely haywire, but the plan eventually works. Jesse celebrates by breaking in his new bed with Jane, but not smoking because Jane is in recovery. Walt celebrates by grading chemistry papers. Saul comes to visit and asks to be a silent partner in their budding business. As
Did
Saul
not see that coming.
leaves, Walt is left wondering what he got himself into.
Heck yeah, man! I did not see the Saul part. Honestly, again, never seen it. Full disclosure, I never saw the Saul like partnership actually happening. I thought he was just a lawyer and kind of like a silent party, like kind of has an idea what's going on, but he wants in, folks. That was that's kind of a crazy revelation for me. But yeah, what an opening with Sal and played by Odenkirk here. Yeah, he is such a high war. Like that is such like a perfect casting. I'm like this. If this is how you start an episode and in the season. Can't wait to see what's going on with you in the future.
We're looking for a
Uh,
fast talking sleazeball. Bob Odenkirk. Perfect. We got it.
not the first name on our list here. Let me check anybody else. That's who it is, pretty much. I think that Saul has the best energy of any character in the show so far, or at least since Tuco. Tuco is a pretty high energy guy. Like he is very memorable and completely different than everybody else that we've seen. And Saul's kind of up there too. Like show that's kind of like low, like I guess not low energy, but just like the characters aren't as like boisterous, not like really like kind of like the Matt Damon role. Like what show are you in? Like he's completely different than the show. So like Tuco and Sal are up there, but fantastic. Like Bob Odenkirk's on there, and I couldn't be happier. Like watch this episode and not have a smile on your face. I dare
Oh
you.
yeah.
Like that's the thing. You can't do it. And I was talking to Terry off camera. Is that my wife has sporadically kind of watched the show with me every once in a while, just in passing. This one, she came in and watched it, and she's like, she was asking a little bit of questions, and she's at the end of it, she said, I think I'm gonna start watching this with you. So I'm like, it's a good show, it's a really good show. You got to watch it. She's like, she even kicked the kids out of there. I'm like, no, you guys need to go. We're watching a show. Get out of here.
It is pretty good. It's pretty
It's
good.
I'm not gonna
Uh
try my NoHo Hank. So go ahead.
so first it's Saul. You keep saying Sal. It's Saul. Come on,
That's right,
don't talk like
Saul.
that in wine country. Yeah,
Had a couple Mountain Dews, man.
I I remember talking with Todd at one point about Breaking Bad, and he said one of the coolest parts of it is there are constantly a new flow of characters coming in, like Saul, but they never feel forced. Like every time there's a new character, it's like, oh, of course, at this point you need a lawyer, and there's Saul, right? When Tuco comes in, it's like you need that's a needed next step. There's Tuco. And Saul is a perfect example. It doesn't feel like, okay, we need to get this guy in the show now. It's just this is what the natural next step is, and now this is the natural next character that needs to be introduced.
Yeah.
And that's one of the brilliant things about this show is it constantly is bringing in new people
Mhm.
in a
At the right
way,
times, yeah.
yeah, at the right time and in a way that uh, doesn't feel forced, doesn't feel inauthentic. It's exactly what you need at that moment. Well, let's start to get into our categories here because I think we're going to continue to talk about Mr. Goodman in a lot of different ways.
Mhm.
What's your best scene, Adam?
Best scene. Well, I had Saul's intro because it's, grab the juice box there, but, no, it's the finale, or no, it's the heist, and, Walt's like, "Hank, I thought that was you, like, you son of a gun, you son
All
of a
right.
so and so, how are you?"
That sting operation is worth an entire episode in itself. That is
Yeah,
just
like,
oh my word.
the funniest part of it is, like, Guy's like, "Yeah, I think it was a pretty flawless bust." You recorded his band for half like, over the bust. It's okay, and you got Hank going like, "Son of a gun." But I do wanna talk about this scene, or I guess the ending of the bus too is Hank putting the pieces together right now because bald guy basically described Walt there, but at the same time he had that kinda look in his eye at the end, but it could also be his PTSD still because he's actually in doing something in his job that is dangerous in a way. Could be that too. There's a couple different ways that you
I
can
I
kinda look
read
at it
I read
without.
that moment. Yeah, I read that moment as less of he's thinking it's Walt and more of I don't think we have our guy.
Oh,
He
that's
doesn't
yeah,
feel
good call.
right for it. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's all done. We got our guys." I don't know.
That's a
I
good
don't
that's
know.
that's a good way too, yeah. Good call.
That's kind of more how I read that. But yeah, the, the comedy of errors of that whole thing and how everyone involved is so incompetent and that's the only reason it works.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Badger who's sitting there waiting for the guy who's late, and then the other guy comes and sits down, and he's like, "Are we doing this?" Uh, Um,
Coincidentally, another bald guy shows
another
up,
bald guy, yeah, and
but
then
yeah.
and Walt and Jesse, Walt and Jesse are us in that moment because there's like, no, wrong bench. Now he shows up. Oh, come on, what's going? It's like, what are we gonna do? And Walt, I mean, just spur of the moment's like, this is either the dumbest or the best idea I've ever had. And he goes and he drops off Jesse, blocks him off while Jesse walks by. Wrong guy, wrong guy, wrong guy.
Yeah. Other bench, other bench.
Other bench, other bench.
Hank, I
Oh,
thought you want me to
and
go forwards the right way? That's not
or
in the way?
this way, that way, that this. Oh, are you doing okay? Are you okay? Yeah, it's just oh, get out of the way.
It's
Oh,
great.
like DEA work right now. It
And
was
the whole scene is set up with like a gaff at the front from the jump. They pass the freaking intersection essentially. They go back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Like, He's like, are they good?
Think
Did
they
they
saw
see us?
us?
Did they see us? So dumb, man. It
Uh,
comes across so slapsticky and kind of like just like over the top goofy, but it in this universe, it freaking works, man. Like it is such a funny way because they are kind of it's but at the same time, he does have good plays like this, and it works so well. Again, laughed really hard at this. Even the wife, who don't know the characters as well as we do, at this point, I was just laughing just as hard as I was. So
you
it
you
comes across so well.
you still get a few of those comic moments that you
Yeah.
haven't had, or comedic moments that you haven't
Mhm.
had as much since the first season, but this is definitely one of those. I mean, it kind of felt like them breaking in and stealing the methylamine of
Mm,
just the how many ways could this go wrong and still go right? Uh,
yeah,
but just comedy of errors. It's
yeah,
great. Yeah, that
fantastic.
was. I had a few things written down. That was one of them.
Mhm,
We already talked a little bit about the opening. That was another one that I
mhm.
loved. Um, Walt's pep talk with Hank. If you want to go a little deeper and have a
That's a
deep,
great scene too. Yeah.
it's such a good scene. And
What did
Walt
he tell
having
you?
that heart to heart.
Mhm,
Yeah. And him actually processing everything that he's been going through and everything that he's been feeling in a
mhm.
way that he hasn't verbalized yet, and why he is doing what he's telling him. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing without telling him what he's doing.
Yeah. Again, it's one of the things that Walt's done several times with Hank is he's having a bigger conversation without even Hank even like coming to terms or understanding what's actually being said here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many layers to the conversations.
Yeah. And yeah, that's a such a great scene. And those two, like you like you said, you've had many moments where they kind of spar without necessarily sparring in
Hmm.
scenes like that, and this is another one of those, um where it's kind of that verbal sparring in some ways, but it's really the pep talk that he needed. So
Hmm.
that's a great scene. Also the scene where they kidnap Saul and take him out to the desert, and
Recognize her, Mr. Mayhew. I recognize her cough.
recognize your cough. Quick, put $1 in my pocket. That way you're my client. Attorney
It's
client
another scene.
privilege.
That's another scene that got us laughing too. He's like, "I only got us a 5. I'll take a 5.
I'll
I
take a
don't have
5.
change." He didn't say change, but it's like, "I don't have change."
All right, I'm gonna assume that this is all just a scare tactic.
Think happy thoughts and assume it's all
You should have
scared
taken the $10,000. It's off the table now. Well, it was a little low anyways. So,
a little low. Oh man, this that
uh,
like Odenkirk has just like this weird energy, like every this chaotic energy that's completely different than any of these other characters, and
he's just sleazy, and that you can tell they don't know what to do with him yet.
yeah, he's a criminal lawyer. Get
Criminal
the
lawyer,
picture?
dude. He got Emilio off like twice, and he was dead to rights. Um,
That's
yeah,
maybe that's why because he's like that kind of lawyer, like the criminals lawyer. That's why his TV ads suck because he's like, no one's gonna suspect that this all the criminals go to this guy because his commercials suck.
hmm
So maybe that too, yeah. It's kind of perfect because I was like, a flaw is those TV commercials, but maybe that's by design. It could be like a high MVP candidate says TV commercials because it conveys a different kind of message.
he appeals to the right clientele.
Yeah,
Did you know you have rights? The Constitution says you do.
and I knew it, and I do too.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go to the Ken Wins douchebag award,
Oh,
which
mm,
I have a couple, but the first one is going off of that. All the criminals in the Better Call Saul commercial.
dude, yes.
I guess I better call Saul.
So yeah, I, I was driving. I was just partying, minding my own business. I pulled
Oh,
over.
I have one more too, but I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, so I think there's a slight candidate. The parents in Saul's like waiting room there, just kind of like just sitting there comatose, like waiting their turn in line. That's kind of a could be a candidate, but I think Badger because Getz calls him that. It's like, what are you, a douchebag?
That was the other one on. It's like, show me if you're wearing a wire. I'm blinded, douchebag.
but
Like,
Yeah.
it's actually mentioned by name, so you have to
Yeah.
mention that, in the category for
This
sure.
could be the "Oh, white badger, a douchebag of this episode goes to" who knows?
Uh,
Yeah, that was the one that right when that happened, I was like, "Yeah, that's gotta be the answer." Like, I don't know what happens to the rest of the episode, but that's gotta at least be mentioned.
it has to be.
Has to be. It's great. I'm like, I don't I think Badger was actually coming across a lot smarter until he got tripped up in the Constitution. Like, he was coming
Yeah.
out pretty well, and it's like, "Huh, interesting." And then the Constitution.
The guy was about to give up. He was gonna walk away.
Mhm.
It's like, "What? You give up that easily?" It's like,
Oh, yeah,
what are
dumb,
you
dumb.
doing?"
Could be the dumbest thing said.
Yeah, that's a good point. Pink Man, Stick Man.
It's the Pink Man, dude.
It's gotta be the
It's
Pink
gotta
Man.
be Pink Man. He bookended the episode.
He bookends the episode. I mean, all it takes is you have a bed. Like, she
Yeah.
even brought the bed in for him.
He had floors,
He
hardwood.
had
Like,
he
come on.
had floors and a TV that didn't work.
Yeah, at the time.
But yeah, that
Your
screen's
satellite's
badass
working.
once it
Yeah,
started working. Yeah,
yeah.
playing Better Call Saul commercials.
Yeah, the only other candidate is that masturbation guy at a Starbucks.
Yes, yes. That the little
Yeah,
whiteout can't fix.
yeah,
In a
exactly.
Starbucks? Oh, come on.
Right on, man.
No, no, I'm the one that stealing meth, allegedly.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
okay, gotcha. I blended.
Meth. Yep, here you are. Okay.
I like it. What's the lady's at Francesca.
Francesca.
Francesca. And she's like, because Stickman's like, Bob, Saul could be like the anti-Stickman of the episode. It's like, Francesca, that ass still amazes me, or something like that. And
Can I
just the
follow
thrust
you
move
home? No.
for
No.
safety.
For safety.
Oh, so good, man.
Uh, the best new face. Hey,
Okay,
that's Danny Trejo award.
yeah, we all it could be, uh, Bob Odenkirk, but I'm going DJ Qualls, the
Yep.
uh, gets. Right when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, hey, it's that guy who always like plays the same character and everything. He always has the same tone and everything he plays." The only one I could picture him is like Delta Farce. It was like that Bill Engvall, Larry the Cable Guy movie when they get in the military or whatever. That's the only thing I
He's
could
been
really
in a
picture
lot
him
of
right now.
random stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super random. Yeah, and I thought he was just gonna be a write-off character until he was revealed to be a cop. I was like, "Oh, he's just gonna show up for the intro? Cool."
Well, and it takes someone that random and dim-witted to match dimwits with Badger. Um,
Mhm,
it was definitely a moment there that they had. Oh,
mhm.
we were gonna hang out.
We're
Um,
gonna hang out. Yeah, dumb.
yeah, that's those are the 2. It's DJ Qualls and it's Bob Odenkirk for sure.
Yeah.
Your favorite minor character.
Okay. Gomi. Okay. Didn't have a whole lot to do with this episode, but there's one line of dialogue from Marie that really is like that's the high war. He called Marie telling about what happened to Hank
Mm,
because Marie would not have known unless Gomi called. So that's a good friend, cares about him. He kind of observed him, reading the reports. Hey, are you right? Are you sure? Okay, we'll go down there. There's not a whole lot to do this episode, granted, but if you're talking about favorite like character little stuff here that you're picking up on, I think this could be the Gomi Character Award, like the minor character, because we've mentioned him a lot in this specific thing.
yeah, the
Walt
Gomi
Jr.
Award.
Yeah, Jr. could be a candidate here, but for this one, just for that line of dialogue that Marie did, I was like, yeah, that's got to be the guy. Even if we don't see him in the episode, we got to mention Gomi here.
You're starting to recognize when he pops up, and I love it because Gomi is such a great character, and he
Yes,
hasn't had a ton to do yet, but that you c as you can imagine, his role starts to increase moving forward,
good.
and,
Sometimes the most impactful characters don't have a whole lot of screen time, but their impact and
mhm,
their presence are there, and that's what kind of Gomi is. So at
he
this time, anyway.
he's the one guy that can put up with Hank
Hmm.
and also get him to cut the crap.
That's
and
kind of that's what good friends do too. At the same time, even their coworkers, they have that relationship that they can just shoot the shit, but also say, "Hey, you need to knock it off."
yeah,
Type of thing.
yeah. So I've got a couple things here.
Mhm,
Francesca is one just for that whole bit. But then, I mean, we've been talking about it, but we haven't actually mentioned Jimmy In and Out, James Kill Kelly, the the career
criminal. Yep,
prisoner that you for the right price will go to prison for you. Yeah,
$80,000. Yeah,
80,000. No, he gets 30. I get 50.
50. Yeah, he
But
likes it.
no, yeah, he likes it. Jimmy In and Out. It's he's such a great character. Like just a silent character. You know what my favorite part of him is? His his main pick, his profile pick on IMDb is a screenshot from Breaking Bad of his mugshot. Like
Yes.
at like a slanted angle. I haven't actually clicked on it to see if he's done anything else, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's like I, he doesn't fully fit the description. Like he's bald, but he's like 6'5". That's not average height.
Yeah.
Um, and
Could be a flaw.
yeah, but yeah, Jimmy In and Out.
Makes me
I mean,
want in and out.
maybe he's a stick man with a name like Jimmy In and Out. So
He's in and he's out, like just like
that
that,
there you
clockwork.
go.
Yeah.
All right, the cow house, dumbest
Yeah, I
thing
thought you said you
said.
had a couple. Oh, you already that was your
Yeah,
you know, okay,
Francesca and Jimmy,
gotcha. Dumbest thing said,
dumbest thing said.
the Constitution of America, so up there. Um, I like how, Odenkirk, Saul's character was like, he fell headfirst into a pile, the poo-poo pile. It came out smelling like Paco Robin, Paco Robin or whatever. I think that's a pretty good one. It's also just really clever too at the same time, even though they just said poo-poo, but it's a
Yeah,
good one.
I had kind of similar to what you said with Constitution of America. Later on, when he's being questioned by
Mhm.
Getz, he goes, I like people who don't abuse the Constitution."
He says it so, like, straight, dude, it's so good. Oh,
Yeah,
Matt
I thought we were
Jones.
gonna hang out, man. And then you've got Hank when he's not getting out of bed, and Walt first walks in. Moctezuma's revenge. Crap's going through me like a tin whore. I don't even know what that means,
I
but
don't know either, but it's provocative. Gets the people going. He
uh,
says something about an epileptic whorehouse too, like Hank does when he's talking to Saul. I was like, "Oh,
however, yeah, yeah, that
yeah,
possibly the smartest thing that Hank ever said was in that same scene when
yeah,
Walt is talking to him, and like, you can always talk to me, and Hank goes, um I don't know how to put this, but we don't have much of an experiential overlap.
experience, yeah, good call.
It's like,
But what if we do?"
but what if we do? And
Yeah,
in that moment, you just have for a split second, like, what's he gonna tell him?
yeah. Remember that shootout? I almost shot him too.
Yeah, I was the one that put the bullet in him before you got there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think the one we have to go with is like, "What? You're just gonna give up that easy?"
you're just gonna give up that easy? Yeah. Uh, mhm.
Badger,
Mhm.
dumb.
All right. Did you have any problems? Anything outdated?
No, I was just sometimes it's hard when you're especially when you're thoroughly enjoying it and you're like on just like having a great time with the episode. I think you mentioned a flaw. Like I said flaw. That could be a flaw there, but it was something just earlier on in the episode too. But not a huge deal. But I really don't have anything honestly on this. That could be something, but
All right. The biggest thing I thought of, the Sting. How many vehicles are watching? 3, because you got the 2 vans, Duke City Flowers, and then the car with Hank and Gomi and Getz.
mhm. Why aren't they hooked up with cameras?
Yeah, I mean, Walt blocks Hank and everything else is fine. I guess, I mean, it doesn't necessarily look suspicious because Hank's the one that knows Jesse. So, like, if Hank was watching, like, "Hey, what, who's that? That's Pinkman. Why? What did he say to him?
Mhm.
What? How's he?"
Good call.
That like that would have been a thing. But so maybe there's that. But come on, you got to think the other one saw something fishy. Go, "Hey, that guy walked by," and all of a sudden he got up and moved. Um,
Yeah, I didn't even think about
everyone
that, but
else
that's a
had a
good
view
call.
of him. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's a one thing I thought of.
yeah, good call there. Um, yeah, I honestly I can't remember what you mentioned. So, oh, that could be a flaw, but because it wasn't as good as that one, so it doesn't matter. Yeah,
All right,
thoroughly. Yeah. Mm.
midlife crisis moment.
This bugged me. This bugged me. Walt was wearing Converse sneakers the entire episode. Like, that guy doesn't wear Converse. He should be in Adidas. Like, soul protectors. You're 50. You're not freaking running up and down a basketball court. You shouldn't be wearing Converse unless you're trying to be
That's
hip.
that's fair, and
And
I
what's
like
funny
that.
is, and Skylar was saying, like, have Walt Jr. Uh, clean his tennis shoes. And Walt's shoes were the dirtiest, like, shoes in the entire episode. Like, it bugged. It was like, why is he wearing Converse? And they're filthy. Like, I don't know.
That's good. That's good. I've got 2. One is, um, when Jane gets up at the beginning and
Mm,
starts walking out, and Jesse goes, "I mean, I could use some Chinese food." I feel like I could always use some Chinese food.
mm,
I mean, it's just, just one of those foods that
yeah,
you're always in the mood for Chinese food. So that was
yeah.
one thing I had. The other thing is, did you notice, like, Walt was not okay with Skylar having to go to work on a Saturday, but the second she said, "I'm getting double time," he couldn't argue with it anymore? It's like, "Oh, well, I mean, if you're getting double time, you can't argue with double time. Like, no,
No.
nothing's whatever's going on. Oh, you're getting double time? Well, then it's worth it."
Yeah, that is true, but too bad she played him like a fiddle. Anyway,
Very true. Very true. But hey,
she knew exactly.
she knew exactly what to say. "Oh, getting double time." Even though for him it's like, "You don't understand. I'm making thousands and thousands of dollars selling
Yeah,
meth." But
yeah,
yeah, that
good
was my
stuff.
other midlife crisis moment.
Yeah.
LVP,
American Express, the credit
not
card.
American Express.
Yeah, not American Express. What company actually like, what movie has I know there's movies they show credit cards and stuff, but I can only think of Home Alone 2. I think he pulls up the American Express card and, like, swipes it at the hotel, like, Kevin McAllister. I think that's one,
Mhm.
but usually it's like, we don't take American Express. Like, everybody doesn't take that one credit card. They take MasterCard, they take Visa, money orders, cash, not American Express.
It reminds me, right before we got on, I was watching some Office bloopers,
Oh,
and
good, good,
there's
good,
the
good.
when Jim and Pam go and stay at Dwight's B&B.
Oh,
He
Schrute
says he
Farms? Yeah.
says he only takes Mastercard and Diners Club.
Master Dino's Club.
So that's what it reminded me of. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's a good one. All right, I've got a couple.
Good, bring him.
One is Walt's student who, after writing, he got a 40% on the paper. He had to write not even close like that. Can you imagine getting a paper bag from a teacher where he writes on it not even close?
I wonder if Zach's ever done that. That'd be hilarious.
That would be funny. I've
I
not
gotta
done
ask.
that,
I
but
gotta ask him on next podcast.
yeah. But then the other one is just Walt, but with all of Saul's names for him and the things he calls him throughout the episode
Mm.
shows how Walt is an MVP. Like when he first walks into his office, like, "Call the FBI, I just found DB Cooper." And then and then at the end when he's talking to him, he says, "What did Tom Hagen do for Vito?" It's like, "I'm no
No,
Vito." He
Vito.
goes, "No, you're
You're
Fredo."
Fredo. That was like such a good call. My wife's like, "What?" I was like, "Godfather, honey." It's good.
You're the screw up right now.
Ah, so
But
good.
yeah, I think Saul is finally the one that's like, dude, you are the LVP of the situation right now. Let
Yeah,
me help you.
let the big boys handle this.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it. We're thinking of Saul too again, but Francesca's like microphone. Yeah, Mayhew, Mayhew. I'm like, you're in a small ass reception area. Why do you need an intercom? Your window's
Mm-hmm.
open. That's an LVP thing.
That's a good call too. That's a good call too. All right, MVP. I've got a good one.
Okay, I was gonna say Saul. He brought some great life in this episode here. Had funny lines. You can kind of our criteria for douchebag are sometimes wearing Bluetooth headphones. Like he definitely had that headset that was the douchebag version. So
Get
that
him.
could have been it.
Get
Yeah,
him. Get him. Hey, what
get
happened
him.
to my masturbation guy?
Yeah, I know. It's so good. But yeah, that's a pretty great one. I think, like again, we could throw Gomi up there because the friendship that he does have with Hank here. Yeah, and I think bringing back those ski masks, it's pretty great because they are kind of bumbling idiots because it throws back to when they're stealing the big container, big case there. So
No shanking.
yeah, no shanking. Yeah, so that's my
Uh,
two.
all right. My MVP is Badger's idea of using garbage trucks for an FBI sting
Mm, mm,
because it's genius. It's genius.
yeah,
Like you know what I wouldn't see coming? A garbage truck.
yeah.
You go. You just have to stop and go, dude. That's a really good point.
The back all opens up and a bunch of cops come out.
Exactly.
It's so
Exactly.
awesome.
It's perfect.
Wow, that I think is the most like MVP of this half season so far. Like that's like has to be the MVP of it. That little line of dialogue's pretty great.
Like Badger is half smart and half the dumbest man alive in that opening
Yeah,
scene.
he was a pretty like great like he was dropping some knowledge until the Constitution popped. It was like, oh, that's a lot of knowledge there. I don't know about the Constitution of America.
He sniffed it out perfectly, but he just couldn't help himself. All
Yeah,
right.
this is true.
Well, it's time to find out what you think is going to happen next. But before we get to that, to
Body count.
yeah, we got a nothing changed in our two categories. Our Walter White body count remains at two drug dealers, one car, one custodian's career, one drug dealer's hideout, one lock, and one uneaten burrito. So far, after through 8 episodes of season 2, one uneaten burrito is the extent of Walt's body count. So
You get
everything
this
else,
some
yeah, everything else was just in season 1. So
pretty crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, I think the only thing that's really changed is that Jesse's body count has gone up by two.
that is true.
Technically
Oh,
one, but it's just it
how
happened
about
twice.
how about Saul representing Spooge? Like that was a
You get
great revelation
you
too. It's
guys
like
like to
that's
take
all you need to know about Saul.
you guys like to take the fun ones, don't you? Take credit for the fun ones. His wife did it. I got her
Yeah.
off.
And then the Jesse ass kicked count remains at 5. Remains at 5.
God.
Okay. So, Adam, what do you think is going to happen next? We got 5 episodes. By the way, I don't know if you've realized this, but the first season had 7 episodes. So we're already have more
Bastard.
seasons in season 2 than we did in season 1. We've got 5 episodes left. Where are we going from here?
You know, Skylar's gonna go out and claim to work double time. So not the only thing she may be working, she may be working that flirt game within the next one.
Mm,
I because I think
there may
Walt
be some other double time going on.
yeah, double time in your head. Anyway. Yeah, I think with a little sex in it. No, well, the funny thing is about that scene, my wife, because she's seen it throughout, like sporadically. She's like, "She's still pregnant." It's like, yeah, she's still pregnant. Yeah, she'll get there eventually, probably by the end of.
I mean, it shows just how little time is passing in all this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so something that's gonna happen there. Um,
With a
the
little
silent
sex in it.
partner is good. Yeah, good.
There it
Thank you,
is.
Todd.
There it is.
I think also the silent partner is gonna have to reveal that to Jesse.
Mm,
So that's gonna have to be known here as well. I think I would love to see another Hank and Walt like sit down conversation. I think that would be something that Hank's like, okay, you shared something with me, I'll share something with you. Maybe who knows if that maybe that never happens or they I don't know. But I just like that scene a lot. We didn't really talk about it too much there. We mentioned a little bit, but that would be just it became I always like when Hank and you know Walt do some sparring.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think here too. Ah, I don't- yeah, that's pretty much the kind of things I took away from this episode. I can see happening. I would like to see Badger trying to maybe doing community service, but trying to pull off a deal while he's doing his community service. Be kind of
Mm.
interesting too. But that's far less than likely to happen. Just be a kind of a fun moment. Who knows?
Alright. I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at.
Thank you for telling me that every time.
Well, no,
Even
no,
though I,
you've got some good thoughts. You've got some good thoughts.
mm,
And we'll see how right you are next time around.
yep. Well, yeah, this is a great episode, man. It gets harder and harder every week not to watch the next episode until next Wednesday. Um, yeah, it kind of sucks, man, honestly. And this episode ended, and I just kind of let the Amazon thing tick out, and then it started playing a little few seconds. I was like, "No, turn it off, turn it off." I always got it. I was like, "I have to do a podcast. I can't be just doing this." I would have freaking
They
sent me
want you to
back.
watch the next one. They want
They
you to
want you.
watch it.
They didn't ask me if I was still watching. They just said you can watch the next one. We'll allow you. So, all right. Well, that is our episode today of Breaking Bad,
Breakdown of Breaking Bad.
season 2, episode 8 of Better Call Saul. And remember, if you would like more conversations like this, Better Call Saul and the Almost Sideways podcast.
Hey, sit and spin.
I think you had some soundbite material in there, Terry. You should cut some stuff up for you in this for the board.
The other thing I was going to mention with midlife crisis, the appeal of the pillow top mattress. Like
That's that
I
great
I I,
call.
I think Jane just wanted to lay on the pillow top, that's what I was going to take.
She's
So
like, if I have to go over to that guy's house and no furniture,
that's
pillow
what I was
top
going to take.
mattress.
That's what I was going to take.
It's nice.